Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for attending tonight's Temple City Council meeting for April 15th, 2021. Currently 5 p.m. If you would please rise as Mayor Pro Tem Judy Morales leads in the invocation, which will be followed by our pledge of allegiance, which will be led by City Secretary Dan Llewellyn.
Lord, we come to thank you today. Thank you for this new day. That we know all the challenges we will face. We know you will be with us and you are our hope. You will give us wisdom as we seek perspective of your word. We pray for those who are hurting or longing today that you will comfort them. We pray for those who are ill, that you will heal them. We pray for those who are concerned about what may come in the next uncertain hours. That you bring with peace, and we trust you. Thank you for being our safe haven and solid refuge. Lord, we know you are the source of that strength. We should bring us purpose in our weakness. Give us the power to endure that weakness, knowing that you will show yourself strong. You offer grace to us, and that grace is sufficient. When we encounter hardships, you are our strength. When we endure persecution, you are our strength. Whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, give us the strength to make it through the other side of the trial, so that we will be glorified. We know that you don't delight in suffering, Lord. You are for us, and you are what's best for each of us. Teach us that peace, strength, we may come when it comes from you. Lord, today we ask that you lift up our country and ask for your blessings today. We thank you for allowing us to live in a place that let us pray to you every day, that let us speak out our beliefs. We ask that you continue to have our hand on this nation, and that you provide the leaders of national and local, our mayor, our city council, our city staff with the wisdom to guide us in the right direction as pleasing to you. And that we need today, please bless each person in this great day, all our residents in our great city, and give us the peace, Lord, we can do. Lord, we thank you. We thank you for loving each one of us. We thank you for your grace and forgiveness. We love you in Jesus' most precious name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jana sounded good. The other one.
Very good. Thank you both very much. Now we come to the time in our meeting where we have public comments. I don't have a sheet up here. Do we have any public comments tonight? Oh, yes, ma'am. Bobby Thompson.
Well,
Hello.
Bobby Thompson, Henderson. American. Judah Morales, to the city council. I am here again with the Youth on the Move team to help the dream stay alive. We are still asking for a bank, a grocery store in East Temple. Thank you. I do have a letter here to you, Mayor, and to Judith, from my cousin, chapter council.
Thank you. All right, now we move on to the time for special recognitions. Item number 3 reads to present the Temple Independent School District with a commemorative print of Wildcat Stadium as featured on the cover of the Central District Plan. Ms. Glover and Ms. Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. We appreciate having this opportunity to present this special recognition. We ask Dr. Ott and Mr. Posey to please join us. And Kelly Atkinson, our neighborhood planner, is going to present these prints.
There you go.
Very good.
Thank you, Brian, for being our photographer. We
Hey,
appreciate that.
advantages to being in the front row.
You want to gather them all up to get a good one?
That's right.
Well, while he's working on that, Mayor, Council, I would just like to say that we really do appreciate the coordination with TISD and Dr. Ott and all of the staff, right down to teachers and members of the high school and just various departments that we've been able to collaborate with during our planning process. Central was really our first district that COVID really set in and kind of threw a wrench in our normal public engagement activities. And so we really had to re-gear and retool what we were doing. And we just really appreciate you guys. Kent Boyd has really been a very big part of, giving us that feedback, and Christine, she's been amazing. So you have a great staff, and we are just truly blessed to be able to work with you guys, not only on the central plan, but moving forward in each one of our neighborhoods in our districts. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate your support and your collaboration, and we continue to look forward to working on each plan with you guys and bringing those to y'all. Aaron did a great job and presented at the board meeting this week. So we appreciate you guys allowing us to join y'all and really share some of the wonderful things that we see, all the visions and ideas that are coming out of these plans.
Well, on behalf of the school district, excuse me, on behalf of the school district council members, and all your staff, we appreciate what you do with the city of Temple. I'd just like to say about this. I think when you have two of the largest public service organizations working together, great things. So, thank you so much. I'm grateful for your part.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And we're grateful too, to your point.
Provided to the district. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Councilmember Walker and Judy Morales, we also presented one to them as well. They were a big part of helping us shift gears, and so we did our neighborhood planning district news segment, which is the MPD news, and these two ladies graciously joined us and did a Q&A session and really helped us kind of retool and again review what we were doing and just really get that word out to the residents that we were in the planning process. So thank both of you ladies for helping us do that.
Very good.
Or he can.
Yeah.
This will go up in the attic. I bet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Let's move on to the consent agenda. All items that are listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and may be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired by any council member, any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of that council member and will be considered separately. Council, I don't know of any item that you wish to pull from the agenda tonight. Everybody okay? All right, very good then. At this time, I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda, which is items 4A through 4S. I'm sorry, like I said, I will entertain a motion for approval.
Move for approval of the consent agenda items 4A through 4S.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Judy Morales. Council, if you would please cast your vote. Consent agenda passes 5-0. Moving on now to the regular agenda. Item number 5 reads, to consider adopting an ordinance to amend ordinance 2020-5052 to remove a planned development condition related to the timing of the building construction for a self-storage facility located at Lot 4, T-Med South Development, replat number 1, addressed as 23445 Southeast HK Dodge and Loop. Mr. Chancellor.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. Pleasure to be here with you tonight. And so this is the first reading, but the public hearing will be at the second reading on May 6th. And so just a quick background, and of course, this is just an amendment to an existing plan development zoning designation. Of course, this is in T-Med South, and it's located on Lot 4, Block 1 of the T-Med South Development replat number 1. And so on the map here, you can see Everest Hospital and the First Street extension. And then to the right, adjacent to the railroad tracks, you can see the 3-acre tract that we're talking about. And so that tract was rezoned to accommodate a self-storage project on September 3rd, 2020. And at that time, it was originally envisioned as a buffer for future development between the railroad as a use that would be compatible to buffer the railroad from future multifamily, retail, and hotel that were proposed on lots 1, 2, or 3. Our development review committee reviewed this on March 22nd, and there were no issues. And so, as you recall, there was a condition added that was intended to address the timing of the self-storage to ensure that the self-storage wouldn't be the only development in that section. And so there was a condition that the development on Lot 4 for the self-storage could not commence until we had development on Lot 1, 2, or 3 to the west. And so the developer is requesting to have that condition removed for a variety of reasons, and he included a letter, and I believe he's probably participating virtually. But Andrew Ingaraga out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, self-storage developer. And so one item is that lots 1 through 3, they had a flat work permit. You'll see a photo in a second, did some site work. That has since expired, and the project has since stalled. And so the owner of Lot 4 has certainly spoken to the owner of lots 1 through 3 a number of times to even try to purchase the property. But bottom line is that development on those lots is not imminent, and a variety of reasons that I'm sure Mr. Kingarga could outline for you. But so the indefinite delay in the economic viability of the self-storage project is also in jeopardy. Obviously, increases in construction costs and investment that has already been undertaken on that site. They're ready to go, and right now their project is dependent on the timing of lots 1, 2, or 3. And so you're familiar with the site, but you can see that some grading and site work have been done on lots 1, 2, and 3, and but that project has stalled. And so you can see on the right, you can see the landscape plan as part of the overall site plan that included the retail and future hotel and multifamily for lots 1, 2, and 3. And the elevations and landscape plan and site plan for the self-storage would not change. So they're moving forward with the same plans that were approved in September of 2020. So 4 notices were sent out to property owners within 200 feet, and to date, we have not received any responses. And so staff recommends the approval of that amendment to ordinance 2020-5052 with the following conditions: that the condition for the timing that we talked about is waived, and that all other conditions of ordinance 2020-5052 remain in effect and included by reference, and that includes the landscape plan, site plan, and the elevations. And at the April 5th meeting, Planning and Zoning Commission voted 8-0 to recommend approval of the removal of that condition, the amendment to the plan development ordinance. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Chelsea, questions for Mr. Chairman?
When you're talking about the connectivity, it's going to have a front road going on to HK Dot. Is it going to connect the rest of they have cross access across the rest of the lot?
Yes, sir. Not to the loop. So the cross access, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's an important point, that these gentlemen are also undertaking investment, if approved, that otherwise was going to be the responsibility of lots 1, 2, or 3, that developer. That's in building the driveway that connects to First Street, and also the extension of utilities, which will also make those lots, in theory, more valuable, more shovel-ready as to whether this developer for lots 1, 2, or 3 develop, or a future one to be able to market it.
Would you help me by bringing that slide back up?
Sure.
Just make sure
My
I understand.
presentation disappeared.
Oh, well, it was good talking to you.
Now it's just awkward looking at myself on the screen.
What,
It's like behind you.
Okay,
which one, Wendell?
Keep going,
there you
right
go.
there.
You can
Okay,
see the
thanks.
driveway to the south that would connect First Street and provide direct access to lots 1, 2, and 3 as well.
So that is part of this requirement?
Yes, sir.
That will be built to get to the mini storage, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to add that, what's really important is that this new developer, who is not the original owner of this site, is adhering to TMAD, requirements. And I'd like to thank this developer for that. It feels to me that this enhances the future potential development of lots 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yes. I know that as we have talked about this project and projects like it, we've always talked about being a buffer between the railroad track, and that maybe storage is a proper buffer for that. And once you look at the elevation, you see that it's not the typical storage facility with the with big roll-up doors exposed to the street and things like that. I think personally that's a proper use with proper aesthetics on the building for TMAD. So,
And 15% landscaping for TMAD standards, which is 3 times what we require in our general standards.
okay. Anything else? All right, very good. If there is no further discussion, then I'll entertain a motion on item number 5.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve item number 5 as presented by Mr. Chandler.
We have a motion by Councilmember Long. We have a second by Councilmember Walker. Council, if you would please cast your vote. Item number 5 passes 5 votes to 0. Moving on to item number 6, this is the first reading and a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of 0.6529 acre portion of Jack White Street right-of-way as dedicated in Walker Salisbury Commercial Subdivision Phase 3, in addition to the City of Temple, as known in the plat of record in Cabinet B, Slide 240A, Plat Records of Bell County, Texas. Mr. Mears.
Evening, Mayor. Tonight, I'm here to request, we have staff, the abandonment of a portion of Jack White Street. Tonight's first reading and public hearing, and the second reading will take place on May 6th. city, we've initiated the abandonment of a 0.6529 acre portion of Jack White Street right-of-way at its intersection with North 31st Street. We're nearing completion of the street enhancement project along North 31st Street. The project begins at Calhoun Avenue and connects the I-35 frontage to Bray Street and includes a roundabout at North 31st and the realigned Jack White Street. And due to this realignment of Jack White, a portion of the existing right-of-way can be abandoned. And local government code section 272.001A3 allows the cities to exchange existing streets or right-of-way for right-of-way that's needed for new streets. And this exchange can be part of cash transactions to acquire right-of-way. And this right-of-way is adjacent to a property that's owned by JJA Properties. In the city, for this project, we needed to acquire rights-of-way and easements necessary for the project from this property. So as part of the acquisition agreement, we agreed to exchange this portion of Jack White Street right-of-way. And so now we're seeking to formally remove the right-of-way designation. And we will also retain a 0.2146 acre public utility easement upon conveyance to the property owner. And just to orient you, this is an aerial of the right-of-way we're seeking to abandon. It's the blue area on the map. And there's the new roundabout connecting to I-35 at the top of the picture, and then the realigned Jack White Street. And of course, my presentations will not be complete without surveys. So here's a survey of the area to be abandoned, along with a survey of the utility easement that will retain. If you can see in the slide, it connects to some easements that are on the adjacent property. Those are some easements we acquired for the project. So we recommend, staff recommends approval of the abandonment of that portion of Jack White Street to be in compliance with the terms of our agreement with JJA.
Thank you. Council, any thoughts or questions for Mr. Mears? Good, then at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Or raise your hand on the virtual platform. Nothing on the virtual platform. Nothing in the audience. Good, then I will now close the public hearing. And council, is there any further discussion on this item before we move to a vote? Okay, very good. Then I will entertain a motion on item number 6.
Second that motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Walker. We have a second by Councilmember Long. Council, if you would, please cast your vote. Good. Item number 6 passes 5-0.